Hi, welcome to our daily encounter. Today in 2nd Chronicles, in our reading today, very early in our reading, in chapter 21 and verse 7, we have a verse that I think explains one of the main themes of 1st and 2nd Chronicles. It says, "Yet the Lord was not willing to destroy the house of David because of the covenant which he had made with David, and since he had promised to give a lamp to him and his sons forever." And as we read through 1st and 2nd Chronicles, we can definitely see that as becoming a theme. The latter part of 1st Chronicles is pretty much completely dedicated to David and the things that he did. And even 2nd Chronicles, which occurs after David had died, still continues to speak very much about David. As a matter of fact, David's name is mentioned 70 times just in 2nd Chronicles. And so this would be very important to the exiles as they were going back to Judah to have a book that they could read that shows God's commitment to his promise to David, especially since many of the exiles were from the tribe of Judah, the tribe that David was from. And so this was very important, very, very important for them, and important to us as well, because what this shows us is that we do serve a God who keeps his promises. We see this already as far as we've gone in our reading so far. We've seen God keeping promise after promise. You go all the way back to Noah when he said he would flood the earth no more. And of course the earth has never been completely submerged underwater since then. God kept that promise and continues to keep it. We see the promise that he made to Abraham, that the land that he sojourned in would one day become the land of his descendants. And we saw that fulfilled in the book of Joshua as they entered into the land and overtook it and settled there. So God is a God who keeps his promises. You know, with human beings, sometimes we keep our promises, sometimes we don't. And even sometimes when we're genuine in the promises that we make and we intend to keep our promises, they sometimes cannot be fulfilled by us because we're not truly in control of our lives. We're not truly in control of the circumstances and situations that we get into. So we might make a promise, well intended to keep it, but unable to keep it because of our lack of control of things. But God has two things. He has both the willingness to keep his promise and he has the power to keep his promise. The Hebrew writer talks about how sure and steadfast and how unchangeable the purposes of God are in Hebrews chapter 6. And he says, starting in verse 13, "For when God made the promise to Abraham, since he could swear by no one greater, he swore by himself, saying, I will surely bless you, and I will surely multiply you. And so, having patiently waited, he obtained the promise. For men swear by one greater than themselves, and with them an oath given as a confirmation is an end of every dispute. In the same way, God, desiring even more to show the heirs of the promise of the unchangeableness of his purpose, interposed with an oath, so that two unchangeable things in which it is impossible for God to lie, we who have taken refuge would have strong encouragement to take hold of the hope set before us. This hope we have as an anchor of the soul, a hope both sure and steadfast, and one which enters within the veil." So we definitely have hope in God. We have hope in Jesus Christ. We have hope in the promises that God has made. Why do we have that hope? Well, because of God himself. It's not based upon us and our ability to make things happen. It's based upon God, and it's based upon the unchangeableness of his purpose and the fact that it is impossible for him to lie. And so when we think about our future, when we think about our eternal future, we can have hope. We can look ahead to the future with hope and say, you know what? The Lord has promised and he will bring it about. So that no matter what we're going through here on this earth, the storms, the trials, we have an anchor. We have something to hold us down, something that keeps us anchored, steadfast and sure. And that's the hope that we have through God and based upon his promises. So let's meditate and think about that today, how we have a promise-keeping God, and one that we can put our full hope in, our full trust in, as we sojourn in this earth below. Well, thank you guys for listening in. Hope you guys have a great day. Love you guys. God bless.